Um, just over 2 years ago, on January 6th of 2021, which is the day that the Klan attack happened, thousands of Donald Trump sycophants attacked the U.S. Capitol as part of his coup attempt. Aimed not just at nullifying Joe Biden's victory in the 2020 election, but ending multiracial democracy in America in general. Um, Now vastly outnumbered and lacking reinforcements and failed by their leaders and with limited resources overall, the Capitol Police and other law enforcement officers bravely fought back against Trump's Klan mob. And beyond the physical stress and violence, black and brown officers were also assaulted by Trump sycophants with racial slurs and symbols and acts of white supremacist hatred. Now, after hours of hand-to-hand medieval-style combat that one police officer said was more intense than what he experienced in Iraq, Trump's attack force overran the defenders and they rampaged through the Capitol, and they were eager to hunt, kidnap, and kill the Vice Squatter Mike Pence, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, and other Democrats and Republicans alike who refused to participate in Trump's lie. Um, Though infamously, Trump's attack force carried the Confederate battle flag inside the Capitol on January 6th, something that never happened during the Civil War, as hundreds of thousands of Americans have died in the struggle over the right to keep black people as slaves. Now, the New York editor, David Remnick, offers this context in his essay, "The Devastating News Story of the January 6th Klan Insurrection." Now, this is what he had typed out. Um, the insurrection at the Capitol was of such grave consequence for democracy and the rule of law that commentators have struggled ever since to find some historical precedent to provide context and understanding to a nation in a state of continuing crisis. Now, some thought immediately of the sacking of the Capitol back in 1814, though the perpetrators then were British, and they were soldiers of the British Crown. Now, others have pointed to contested presidential elections in the past, like 1824, 1876, 1960, and 2000. But those ballots were certified peacefully and lawfully by Congress. None of the losers sought to foment an uprising or create a national insurgency. But compared Trump's self-absorption and rage with Al Gore's graceful acceptance of the Supreme Court's decision handing the election to George W. Bush tonight for the sake of our unity as a people and the strength of our democracy, I offer my concession. Now, for Trump, the choice was simple. The insurrectionists were his inbred sycophants, his dumbasses, and they were there to do his bidding. Nothing about the spectacle seemed to disturb him. Not the gallows erected outside the building, not the savage beatings, not threats to Pence and Pelosi, not graffiti like "murder the media," or the chants of the year 1776. And so he ignored calls to action, even from his own party, at 3:11 p.m. Mike Gallagher, Republican from Wisconsin, tweeted, we're witnessing an absolute banana republic crap in the United States Capitol right now." Basically, he says, he told the squatter Donald Trump, "You need to call this off," and Trump would not tell his sycophantic inbreds to go home until the early evening when the damage had already been done. Now, what happened on the January 6th Klan attack, Remnick observes, was rooted both in the degraded area of Trump and in the radicalization of a major political party during the past generation. The net effect, he continues, is that many people will approach the January 6th Select Committee's final report with a sense of fatigue and even denial. Now, one of Trump's most important accomplishments has been to bludgeon the political attention of the country into submission. Although the Capitol's defenders could not keep the mob out of the building on that fateful afternoon, they succeeded in protecting the lives of the vice squatter and all the members of Congress and others who were in the Capitol for the certification of the Electoral College vote. Now, even though the Electoral College is a fucking joke and it needs to be done away with, several Capitol Police officers subsequently died, at least partly because of the physical and emotional injuries they suffered on January 6th. Many more members of both the Capitol Police and the Washington Metro Police were forced to retire, and they will suffer the physical and emotional effects of that day until their dying day. Now, 10 days ago, on the 2-year anniversary of the attack, President Biden had honored 14 people, a group that included law enforcement officers and election workers, with the Presidential Citizens Medal for their service to the nation on January 6th and during the 2020 election. In his speech during the White House ceremony, Biden said that on this day 2 years ago, a democracy held because we the people did not flinch, and history will remember your names. They'll remember your courage. They will remember your bravery, and they'll remember your extraordinary commitments to your fellow Americans. That's not hyperbole, but that's a fucking fact. Um, Now, President Biden offered a special praise to election workers Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay Moss, who were important witnesses before the January 6th committee, and for their courage, dignity, self-sacrifice, and service to American democracy. Now, both of them were just doing their job until they were targeted and threatened by the same predators and peddlers of lies that would fuel the Klan insurrection. They were literally forced from their homes, facing despicable racist taunts. Despite it all, Ruby Freeman and her daughter Shay had found the courage to testify openly and honestly to the whole country and the world about their experience, to set the record straight about the lies, and to defend the integrity of our elections. Now, Ruby and Shay, you don't deserve what happened to you, but you do deserve the nation's eternal thanks for showing the dignity and grace of we the people, and presumptuous of me, but I'm so proud of both of you. Now, watching this, basically there was a solitary tear, and these men and women are among the best of us, the real Americans, and I would include Joe Biden allowing for all his flaws among that group. Um, I am committed to critical patriotism, and that means telling the truth about America, whether it be good or bad, and then working to force the nation and its people to live up to their full potential. Now, critical patriots have a deep love of America. We are passionately committed to truth-telling, even if it makes us unpopular with those who want simple answers and happy narratives of American exceptionalism, and those who believe that patriotism consists of whitewashing history and reality, rather than confronting the sometimes ugly truth and complexities of who we are as a nation and as a people. Now, on that Friday, basically that just passed, I also felt my blood pressure go up as we confronted an ugly juxtaposition. While President Biden was honoring those true heroes of democracy, the Republican Klan insurrectionists who attempted to end American democracy on January 6th were taking control of the House of Representatives and installing Kevin McCarthy, an especially craven minion of Donald Trump as Speaker. Now, McCarthy and his party will now do everything they can to sabotage any and all investigations into the criminal activities of January 6th, and even worse, the Republicans in Congress will work to remove any oversights or other guardrails that could limit their corrupt behavior and fend off any attempts to end American democracy. And they will launch investigations into non-existent abuses by the federal government, including the Department of Justice and FBI, for daring to investigate Trump and his allies' blatant criminal conspiracy. Now, in short, Kevin McCarthy and the other Republican insurrectionists, especially the right-wing inbreds of the so-called Freedom Caucus, are working to make the crimes against democracy committed by Trump and his sycophants appear to be normal, legal, and even a noble crusade. This corrosion and inversion of the rule of law as part of a larger assault on reality is one of the distinguishing features of fascist and authoritarian movements. Now, coming from the bulwark, Mona Charen focuses on one of the most dangerous figures of the new Congress, and what she embodies within the Republican Party and current conservative movement. Now, during one of Kevin McCarthy's gauntlet of punishing votes, it was striking to see with whom he passed the time. And there she was, dressed in a sophisticated black, the member hailed as a key QAnon nutcase to the new Speaker of the House, Marjorie Taylor Greene. Her choice of color in the past, as she donned stark reds, whites, or blues, get it, is perhaps a signal of the new Taylor Greene, a mainstream figure, a serious politician, which she's really not. Her status was signaled by a respectful, not to say software interview with Howard Kurtz on Foe, and doubtless Foe would like to sanitize her, since she played a significant role in elevating McCarthy to the speakership. As she must be a changed person, the GOP will have to ask itself some serious uncomfortable questions, and things move so fast. So cast your minds back only to 2021, when Moscow Mitch described the Taylor Greene as a cancer in the Republican Party, which is a cancer to everyone, and John Thune warned that the party had to draw some lines, and they have to decide who they want to be. Do they want to be the party of limited government and fiscal responsibility, or free markets and peace through strength and pro-life, or do they want to be the party of conspiracy theories and QAnon nutcases? Now, Greene's makeover, Sharon observes, has been an extended process. She basically bounced up and down on Nick Fuentes' dick, but not Trump after the infamous Mar-a-Lago dinner, and has tried to create some distance between herself and former and former other nutcases that align with QAnon, like Lauren Bobich, the crackhead Mike Pillow, and the fat fuck Alex Jones. But this is not a case of a politician who misspeaks or commits a gaffe and must make amends, Sharon writes. But she has a disordered personality. She is drawn to hatred. She is drawn to hatred as a moth is to a flame, and she is the poison that courses through the veins of parts of the right, the vicious reality challenge right. If she is to be if she is to be normalized for the GOP, it is the party, not she, that has changed. Now, the stomach-churning contrast between Joe Biden's tribute to the heroes of January 6th and the Republican fascists in Congress points to a fundamental question that must be answered. If American democracy is to survive the age of Trump, what does justice mean in America when Donald Trump and his sycophants and acolytes not only go unpunished for their evident crimes, but now control one house of Congress? And what does it mean? But what does it mean that Kevin McCarthy, who flew to Florida only weeks after the January 6th Klan attack, to kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago, is now second in the presidential line of succession? Now, David Remnick notes in his New Yorker essay that it's urgent for us to find out whether a 2.5 century-old republic will resist future efforts to undercut its foundations, or to steal through concerted deception the central legitimacy of its constitutional order. Now, these next 2 years, with insurrectionists holding what is supposed to be the People's House in Washington, will put a test to that question. So if you like the video, you can give the video a like and subscribe to my channel, RBW King. You can also hit the notification bell so that you'll be notified when a new video comes out. And if you want to support my work even further, you can donate to my Patreon link, which you can find on the lower link of the video. Or also you can find it in the About section of YouTube, and for just as little as a few bucks a month, your donation can help go a long way, and thanks for listening.